Hey everybody, it's me Ashley Brooke. I'm autistic and I wanted to do a little awareness video. Wanted to talk about, I know this is sorry, let me adjust my chair. Now, I don't want to offend any parents out there, but I want to bring, some attention to the way that we talk in front of our autistic children. I grew up myself, I was nonverbal till I was 7, and when to my family, they were also mean to me too. I don't want to confuse anybody. They were mean to me, but they also sometimes were not being mean to me. And it was not even directed to me, but they would kind of like talk real loud. Even if they were joking, they would cuss, and they would tell like rowdy like stories about how one of them beat someone up at school, or how when my sister came out of jail, how when she was in jail that she like beat someone up. Like, they would always tell rowdy stories. I think it's just like their mentality at that time in their life. And they'd always talk about aggressive things, like if it was something to be idolized and, glorified. And growing up, that made me very nervous. And when, even if they were joking with each other, when they were like talking real loud, like my family, they're Latin, so like they talk really like loud and rowdy, and even if it wasn't to me, or they'd be like, oh, move out of the way, like move honey, or like, they're trying to like move us real quickly, the younger kids. That environment made me feel really like very, I would say honestly, like when they were being directly mean, that made more like sense. I knew like when they're just being mean, I should just go away and hide. And they were not being direct with me, like directly like directing it to me, and it was just the environment in general. It made me like freeze in my processing. Like I couldn't like even complete a thought. Like I would get stuck, and I wanted to just bring some awareness, because I've seen it a lot where like and I'm not judging parents. I know like life is stressful, and financial struggles, relationships, a lot of times like my mom would just be yelling at my dad because like he'd mess something up, or she was like, he didn't pay the bills or something she was worried about, and they would argue in front of the kids. And that also was very like, it would leave me kind of like, almost like it would make me kind of like, I don't know, I'm trying to explain it right, but it would make me feel like, almost like you can imagine like me just like becoming all introvert and like going into my own little bubble, and I'm like floating away. Like, it felt like the way that the world just felt so much noise, so much stimulation, so much like, and then the negative stimulation from the loud yelling and the loud laughing and the joking and the just the rowdiness of the environment made me kind of like retract into this little like bubble, and the more like I couldn't get my processing to like come back, like I would get stuck in my thought process. Felt like I was stuck, or like a different, I think a daydream. If someone doesn't understand autism, it kind of feels like a daydream, but more of a more like my thought process freezing than a daydream. A daydream is like you're thinking about something, fantasizing. Mine is just total shutdown, like freeze, like like it's a total like completely frozen. Okay, if you can imagine that. And the more like that the environment is that way, it's hard for us to come back. And I believe that's a big reason why I went nonverbal again from 10 to 11. it's hard to come back. It's kind of, I'm just like I'm floating away. And I just wanted to bring some attention for the parents that have autistic kids. I'm pretty sure everybody loves their kids, for the most part. There are some bad parents out there, but I'm not trying to say that. I just want you guys to know how sensitive we are to our environment as children especially, and a lot of us sometimes have this frozen, pinned up. We don't have aggression. We don't feel aggressive. We don't have aggressive thoughts. It's not like that. But when we're pinned up in that frozen, my processing frozen for such a long time, my brain not getting a shock back to life, it becomes this irritable feeling, and then when someone's telling us to do things because we can't get our processing to speed back up, kind of feels like I get frustrated, to where it's I'll snap at any other extra noise coming in, because it's I can't take any, because I can't process that right now because of this environment, and now this environment is now adding on some more expectations to meet, more demands, and it becomes frustrating to where I'm able to control myself now, because now I know just to walk away, I'll just avoid. And I think it has to do, a lot of this, what I'm explaining, might be connected and associated with lots of people's concerns when they say resisting behavior, or or aggressive kids, that are autistic, and we're not aggressive, and it's not that we're resisting. It's that you're not respecting our differences in our in our brain. We're different. Our brain is made up different, and we need it to be acknowledged. All parents should go and really do their homework and understand what is different about us, to where it can be acknowledged, how to support our make us how they can be more supportive to make our environment feel safer, and to where we can practice our skills that we need for survival and for life. So I hope this video helped a little bit understand how it feels to be autistic, and brought some awareness for you guys, and how to be more sensitive and cautious to our environment. And I'm not saying, put us in a bubble, okay? No, what puts us in a bubble is rowdiness and yelling, okay? Please, if you guys are in relationships that are where you're constantly arguing, highly suggest that if you guys care about your autistic child, maybe go to some therapy, or find a little thing that might work for you guys. Maybe when you're both angry at each other, write it down to each other, what's pissing you off. Have a quiet time away from your autistic child. I mean, any child you should do that with, but I'm just saying it affects us more intensely, I feel. And if it's a constant, if we're constantly hearing arguing and constantly hearing that we're also more highly sensitive to we are very literal, we take things very seriously, and we don't forget. So what seems like just an argument one day to you guys, or something minor, oh yeah, well, they didn't pay the bill, or they didn't do this, so I'm just going to complain because that's how I grew up, that's how my environment is, Some neurotypicals have that mentality, it's not a big deal, but we just argue sometimes. Everybody does. Okay, well, it's important for you guys to acknowledge that our brains don't function and can't process information, and meet expectations when we're around loud environments like that. So I just want to not shaming any parents, but I just want you guys to know how we can have one bad moment, or even a couple of mild things that you guys are arguing about, and it can be a bigger deal to us. It'll be everything to us, or it's not a big deal to you guys. So I just want you to understand how highly sensitive we are. And there's good things that come with being highly sensitive. We're very honest. We're very we actually are very emotionally aware, for the record. We have compassion, and we're problem solvers. So those are the good qualities that come with being hypersensitive beings. So I hope